Our topic today is finding great teaming partners to help you win opportunities. Really, that's what it is. And before we go too much farther, I just want to back up for a second and remind us that there's three paths to making money in the federal market. We can subcontract under a small business. And when I say small business, I basically am meaning $40 million and below, right? For a lot of us, $1 million and below, we're like, we're small. But 40 million and below, you might still be within the SBA size standard. So in government contracting, they're still small. And so that's one path. The second path is by prime contracting with federal agencies. And then the third path is subcontracting under large businesses. Obviously, these are the firms that are 40 million and plus. But really, when we say large primes, we're often talking more about the firms that are in the hundreds or if not billions of dollars. Those are the typical large primes. But these are the three paths, and all three require teammates. All three require teaming for success. Obviously, subcontracting, you need a prime teammate to be able to move forward. But when you have the right teammates in place, you're going to have success, right? And so you need to be able to pay attention to that. And in today's training, I want to talk to you about finding great teaming partners for your team, right? And then teammates who are going to help you win opportunities. It's a caution that I want to be able to teach you on how to avoid getting teammates on who perhaps aren't going to help you win the opportunity. Sometimes they might actually damage it, but more often than not, they'll just be a drag compared to actually wind in your sails, if you will. And so in particular, we're going to talk about why teammates are so valuable, especially to winning opportunities, but they're so valuable to your success. The second thing I want to talk about is how to set the criteria for what a good teaming partner is for each opportunity, right? It might change for each opportunity. And then I want to wrap up with exactly how, right? We like bringing the how to these trainings. So exactly how to find potential teammates out there. And I'm going to give you 3 different ways to find teammates and people, points of contact to follow up with and start building those relationships. So if you're not a prime, you're a subcontractor or you're small, you're just getting started, whatever, this training is still going to be valuable for you. You'll just see it from a different angle. You'll see it from an angle of here's what primes would value in you as a subcontractor and some of the criteria they might use to choose you. So as you go along, you just kind of switch it away from how I'm talking to the primes. So do me a favor, if you're ready to start learning today with me on this topic, put "I'm ready to learn" into the chat and we will get started. If you don't know who I am, my name is Neil McDonnell. I'm the president of the GovCon Chamber of Commerce, and I want to welcome you to my federal sales training where I teach tips for success in the federal market. I spent 20 years as a small business owner in the federal market, and since 2018, I've been teaching people like you that government contracting is not a secret. It's just a process. If you follow the process A to Z, you're going to have predictable, repeatable results. And that's what I want for you day in, year out, where you're winning you're having predictable success. Before we get started, do me a favor, help buyers remember who you are. In the chat, put your company name. Let us know who you are. If you're able to actually tag it in LinkedIn, that's better because then maybe we follow your company page. And as you're putting content out, it comes to our feed. But put your company name in and put your core competency in, 2 or 3 words to tell us what your company does. If you haven't done so already, I want to encourage you to download our 3 directories. And I got a little screenshot here. These 3 federal directories, they're made possible by our sustaining members. And the first one is the Small Business Specialist. This is over 1,000 names, numbers, and emails of federal buyer representatives. It also includes a whole bunch of more than 100 large prime SBLOs, the Small Business Liaison Officers. This is gold. It's taken years for me to put this together, both in my journey and then with my team as we've really doubled down on making this available to you free, right? And then the second one is Long Range Acquisition Forecast. Over 100 different long-range acquisition forecasts from agencies, federal agencies that might have opportunities you're interested in. So download that one. And then the third one is the vendor supplier portal. You want to be where the buyers are looking. Yes, they're looking in DSBS, like I say all the time, but there are also many large primes and federal agencies have their own supplier portal, vendor registration areas, where you want to put your information in so that when their buyers are looking internally, they might potentially find you and give you a call. So just go to govconchamber.com and you can find that, download them right off the homepage. Finally, I do want to say thank you to the GovCon Chamber of Commerce sustaining members. We don't take any federal dollars and we don't take dollars from large primes who might be sponsoring us. Sustaining members are the ones who make all this possible, this training, making it possible every day. And I just want to say thank you. We definitely really appreciate your support. Okay, let's go ahead and dive into today's training about finding teammates that can help you win opportunities. So I want to begin with, why are teammates so valuable to your success? And I got, I don't know, 10 bullets in here because it is such a big deal. I sometimes have conversations with people who have bad experiences with other vendors, and they're like, I don't want a team. It's so hard to deal with a team. Yes, I get it. Sometimes there's bad experiences that happen, but 99 times, 99.9999 times out of 100, teaming is a very good thing. And so some reasons, in no particular order, that teammates can be valuable. Here's some reasons on why they can be valuable. First one is they can help you with capture. So teammates can come in and perhaps give you agency insight. Maybe they're already in an agency, and they can give you some understanding about the direction the agency is going, challenges, goals, etc. Teammates can help with capture as it relates to relationships. Capture is about asking questions of the buyer and learning more and more and more. Well, if they have relationships already, then teammates can help you maybe get in front of those people, or maybe they can actually get in front of them for you, right? And that goes to my third point about helping in capture, is capture has a set of tasks. Teammates, when you have a good teaming relationship, they can go off and do some of that capture activity. And I highly encourage people to don't do that thing where, oh, the prime's the only one who can talk to the customer. That's just crazy. Anybody can talk to the customer. If you've got a teaming agreement in place, let the team do what it does. You all are going through that one company, yours as a prime, but some of your teammates might have really good relationships. Give them the data call or the questions to ask, and they'll go do it. The second one is teammates can help you with proposal writing, right? And this should be an obvious thing, but they can help you with solutioning, really thinking about this, the technical approach to whatever the requirement is the government has. This goes back to capture, where you can engage your teammate early on, thinking about the solutioning for the proposal, but go vetting it with the customer during capture to say, how's this sounding? Is it aligning? Along the lines with proposal support, they can help with graphics. Maybe they got some good graphics that talk to a certain angle of a technical approach, meeting the graphics, and they can certainly respond to data calls. Data calls generally in proposals, meaning, hey, write this paragraph, write this page, write this section, right? And when you have the correct teaming partners, they can deliver those data calls pretty fast in the quality that your proposal writers need. Third one, they can cover down on weaknesses. And hopefully this is one of the main reasons you're picking a teammate, right? Is if you look in the requirements, there might be 7 task areas and you're strong on 4. You're looking for teammates who can cover down on those 3 areas that you're weak on. You're not looking for teammates who can cover down on the 4. If they can support there, that's great. But the only reason somebody should be able to really come in on the team, as far as I'm concerned, is they cover down on your weaknesses. That's where you want to go first, so you have 100% coverage of the requirement. So that's 3, 4, bring past performances. And so in this particular case, when I'm talking about how a teammate can help you go after opportunities, they can bring past performances either as an actual named past performance. Sometimes a contract shop allows your proposal to include subcontractor past performances. If that happens, that's great, right? They can bring that, but they can also bring great past performances that can be woven into the proposal as stories, right? Maybe it's not in the official past performance area, but you can definitely tell a story about, hey, our teaming partner here did this on this way, which aligns to what you want, right? These stories are really good, and you can weave them into the narrative. So you're looking for teaming partners that can bring those past performances. Another reason that you should value teammates, right, is that they bring subject matter experts. You could think of them as key personnel. Sometimes they're actually named key personnel for an RFP that's coming out, but also just subject matter experts who can really demonstrate that we talk the talk. I had a customer who was going to go into an oral presentation, and they had to bring in subject matter experts to talk on it. When you have a teammate who can bring in, remember that weak area that you might have in the task areas, if they can bring in a subject matter expert who can really talk to construction or really talk to cybersecurity in a way that the customer looks and goes, wow, these guys know what they're talking about and we need to listen. It doesn't have to be only the prime. Teammates can bring that other thing or the other value with SMEs. And then the next one is bringing experience to the process. I like this one because sometimes we're priming before we have a ton of experience. Maybe we're $5 million or $25 million firm, and we still haven't done a ton of proposals. Well, if you team up with other companies, and in this particular case, I'm really thinking of large primes. If you're teaming up with them, sometimes they bring process experience that you could really learn from and value as part of writing a great proposal. Your proposal managers and the team might value hearing how it's being done in another company. The prime doesn't have to be the expert everywhere. The prime just has to submit the proposal, right, and run the contract. The team is bringing the expertise, your company and their companies. And so examples of process that they might bring is pricing, right? If they're looking for working on basis of estimate, BOEs, sometimes those can be a little complicated. In fact, a lot of times, if you haven't done it before, it's a little overwhelming. But when you pull in somebody who knows pricing or has done BOEs, et cetera, they can guide you through the process. So not only do you get it done for the opportunity, but now your company has picked up a lot more knowledge so that you can start developing skills internally about pricing. Same type of thing with competitive analysis. Maybe they're really good at doing competitive analysis, finding out who the competitors are going to be, and then determining or racking and stacking them based on how strong we think that competition is going to be. So bringing experience to the process of going after an opportunity is a great value teammates bring. A couple others here, just cruising through them. Three more I got. One is they can bring other teammates to the table. So I talked about they can bring experience to the process, but sometimes I've been on teams where we've got the team kind of formed, but there's this one area that's just not fitting. If you have good teammates, they have good relationships of their own. And they often can say, well, we work with this company and they're great. We've worked with them on other opportunities. How about we bring them in and you talk with them and see if you want to put them on the team? That's perfect. So that way you don't have to go out and start from scratch trying to build a whole new, teaming partners around a particular area when somebody on the team already has another company they can bring in. That's fine. We all help each other going after the win. The next one is they can show the ability to scale. And again, this goes back to a large prime example for me. But if you're teaming with, let's say, Booz Allen, and you're a smaller firm under $20 million, well, now you can show the government that you've got this whole reach back or ability to scale up to the size of Booz Allen because they're on the team as well, right? It doesn't mean it's the prime has it, but it does show a lot more maturity to the team, if you will. And this idea of how strong is that team, how much are they able to sit there and go forward. And this goes to my next one. And these two bullets tie together. The last bullet I just wanted to mention is that when you use teaming partners, and the value of teaming partners on an opportunity today is that teaming today can build proven relationships that are needed later on. So sometimes opportunities come out that say, yes, you can subcontract together. I mean, you can team together, but you must have a proven history of working together. And so if you're working with a company like Booz Allen, just as an example, you're building that relationship when it's not needed for the government's reasons, but when it is needed, you can go back and say, hey, we worked on these 2 or 3 opportunities together. And so finding these teammates, it's really valuable to your success, not only on an opportunity, but on your long-range success as you go forward. Okay, so if that all made sense, if you understand why teammates are so valuable, throw teammates rock into the chat. Just let me know you're tracking on that. I briefly want to talk to you about teaming worksheet and how I use a teaming worksheet to find the right teammates. And then I'm going to end up today's training by showing you actually how I go 3 ways that I go find teammates, both immediately and longer term thinking when I want to continue to build relationships into an agency with other teams or other companies. So let's talk about teaming worksheet for a minute. Before I reach out to any company to build, and even companies that I know, by the way, before I reach out to anybody on an opportunity to invite them in to be part of the team, I fill out what I call a teaming worksheet. And the teaming worksheet is designed to lay out my criteria of the ideal teammate for this opportunity. So just because I have a relationship with company ABC, a good relationship, it doesn't mean they're the right fit, because maybe in this case, they can't cover down on my weaknesses. And it doesn't also mean that I'm excluding them. It just means I'm starting with this teaming worksheet. So let me tell you some examples of what's on the teaming worksheet. First thing that's on there, in no particular order always, first thing that's on there is socioeconomic status. I need to know, can I use a large teammate? Do I need am I looking for a small business teammate? Am I a woman-owned firm and I'm looking for another woman-owned firm so that maybe I can keep it in this similarly situated entity, that 51% of an opportunity. So that way the 49% can go to, let's say, a large or a couple of larges, et cetera. So I need to know the socioeconomic status, hub zone, woman owned, et cetera. The next thing is, do I need them to be on a contract vehicle? This tends to be if I can only, if I feel like maybe the opportunity might go this way or that way, like the acquisition decision hasn't been firmed up yet, but I have a general idea that it's either going 8A stars 3 or it might flip over to Oasis, by knowing the contract vehicles that it might go to, I might begin to build the team with another partner. And part of what I'm going to say to them when I'm talking is it's coming out on STARS 3, I think, right? Or GSA 70 or whatever, or MASS. But it's coming out this way, I think. But you're on this vehicle. If it flips, I'd like us to have an agreement that I get to be a subcontractor under you, right? Does that sound fair? And that's the teaming I'm looking for. But understanding the contract vehicle it may come out on helps you narrow down the teaming partners. What's the point of bringing a teaming partner on if it goes to a different contract vehicle? Now you got to go out and find somebody else who's on that vehicle. Skills and competencies. This is a big one. I'm looking, when I determine what team I want to put together, I want to know what skills and competencies do they have that I need. An example is, let's say it's a big construction of a building, a hospital. Well, I might be looking for a plumber because we can do all this other stuff, but I'm looking for a plumber. So I'm putting that in my worksheet. Or if I'm in cybersecurity or a big IT contract, but there's an authority to operate, ATO, I might go, well, I'm looking for teammates that have this skill, ATO, RMF type stuff. Knowing those skills helps me, when I'm having the conversation with a teammate. Do you have these? Just going through these other ones pretty fast because I want to get to the show and tell part. 3 past performances that I write separately. I'm looking for companies that have, I'm writing down if I need any of these. I'm looking for companies that have past performance in a particular agency. You must have done work in the Air Force. I'm looking for companies that have past performance, proven past performance in this task area. Right. So I talked about cybersecurity. Maybe it's a big IT contract, but I'm looking for somebody to cover down on a task area for cybersecurity. That's what I'm looking for there. And then the third past performance is similar size projects. So if we're going after a $100 million contract, and you figure that's $20 million a year, I'm looking for somebody who can bring $10 to $40 million a year contracts. So now I know that I need to go large to find some of those people to come in. And those are just random numbers that I'm picking in. But when I look to past performance, I need to determine what experience do I want my teammates to have in the agency with particular skill sets and task areas, or the size of the opportunities they can bring to the mix. And the last one I put was organizational certifications. So I want to share my screen really quick and just kind of get ready to roll down here at the end of the training by showing you how do I actually find teammates. Right. And there's 3 ways, and I'm going to show you how I do all 3, but I'm just going to tell you really quick. They're USA Spending, they're FPDS, and they are the directories of large prime contractors or prime contractors at agencies. And so each one of these progressively will have more information. And that's what I'm going to try to show you in the next 8 minutes. So if you see me going fast, that's why I'm going fast. Let me share my screen here. Okay, I think I'm sharing my screen. I'm going to go really fast. I'm not here to teach you these tools. You can always stop and pause. You can go get other training. But so in here, if I come to FPDS, I'm going to the awards, and I might look, if I'm looking for teammates to build, I'll come down here and say, look, last couple of fiscal years, and what I'm really looking for is right here, the agency. And let's just say the funding agency I'm looking for is the Defense Health, because I actually do have a customer that I'm working with that I want to build some, help them build some relationships. But right here, when I come in, I'm able to see a lot of different companies, right? And as I go through, I can sort through them and decide, are they in certain NAICS? So if I come down here, I can sort this and say, well, show me 541511, which is just, computer programming services. It's one of the NAICS that might be fit. And if I hit submit search, I just went from, I think, 8,000 or something down to 85. So now I can start looking at these companies if I don't know them from any other company, right? If I can start going through them and evaluating them. I'm going to show you with FPDS some exporting, but you can do exporting here as well on USA Spending, but I'm going to show you on FPDS. So that was just one quick way for me to look in there and see who they are. There's a lot more you can do with USA Spending, but these companies and how much money they're making at particular agencies, it's all in here. And so you can find that as you begin to build a list of teammates to start working out to. So this next one, I'm going to start with Defense Agency, and I think I already typed it already. So I got Defense Health Agency. That search page really doesn't matter to me at all because I'm just trying to get to this page. And over on the right-hand side, hopefully you can see top 10 contracting agency names, right? And what I want to do is just choose the one in the middle here, Defense Health Agency. So now I got rid of everything that might have had Defense Health or Agency in there. And it instantly is just telling me that I'm looking at Defense Health Agency. And so here I've got 45,000 entries, and there's a lot of different stuff in here. You can begin to whittle it down. But one thing I just wanted to show you is how quickly I can whittle this data down. And I use these tools a lot, right? So I know what I'm doing. I encourage you to learn how to use these tools. These tools have training, plus you can go to YouTube. There's all sorts of people who will teach you. But I'm going to come in here, and the one thing I want to pay attention to is what I did before. I just want to say, look, show me everything from 2021. Let me come down here. So the beginning of the fiscal year for 2022, right there. So the beginning of fiscal year 2022 is October 2021, which I love. And so here I'm coming into the end date. So now I'm saying basically give me the last year and a half. And I'm going to hit start or search. And I just went from 45,000 down to 8,000. That's still a lot for me to see. I just want to show you really quickly what happens when it comes out. So let me come over here. I exported it out, and I'll show you the link in a second. But I exported it. It comes out to Excel. And Excel, if you don't know about it, you can use pivot tables, learn about them. They're just tools of the trade. But on the left-hand side, if you see it, I basically said, show me the company name and how much money they made. That's basically what I said over here on the left. And on the right, because I can't use pivot tables that well, I copied it over here to the right. So it's the same information, but really all I was trying to do is this. I want to sort it largest to smallest. And so now I'm looking at 541511. Oh, actually, I didn't even do that in FPDS, right? But I could do that one more filter down. So I got the 85. But the point is, I can see these biggest companies here and begin to decide which ones to go into. Like here's Leidos. It's a large prime. They're doing $600 million in there, right? And by looking at this, I can begin to determine which large primes I might want to go talk to, which large small primes do I want to talk to, who's doing business in an agency that I'm going after. Again, remember, it's all based on what did I set in my teaming worksheet. So that's USA Spending, FPDS. I know it's really fast. It's not training about those. What I'm trying to show you is that you can get the information. And from here, you can click on the view where I'm at and dig deeper into this company, learn their website, go find their point of contact information. And I've done a lot of training on how to find people's names and numbers. But I wanted to come to this part because this is gold to me, right? The other part, I have to go through FPDS and USA Spending. It's a little bit of work. But here, agencies or departments, in this case, like Homeland Security, they provide a list of large prime contractors generally. Sometimes it's including smalls, but large prime contractors who are doing business in there, and they provide points of contact. So as I come down and I want to get into DHS, and I'm looking for companies that I might be able to reach into, like here's Amentum. I can come in, I can see Debbie's the small business specialist there. I've got a name, a number to be able to start reaching out to. And frankly, if you go to our directory that I told you earlier about, Debbie's name is in there with a phone number, right? So we've gathered it in because you always want a phone number and an email. But you can see as you're coming down, it's not just IT or something. There's all sorts of different organizations that you can find. Here's Clark Construction, for example. If you're in the construction side of the business, understanding who these two people are and reaching out to Clark Construction, figuring out if they have a supplier portal. By the way, we have that directory, right? Free. Go find out. But DHS gives us all this information right there. If I come over here, NASA is doing the same thing. NASA is giving us, I don't know who any of these companies are, right? But this is one that has large and smalls. But as you come through, it's got emails and it's got points of contact information, phone numbers, et cetera. And then here, it'll tell you whether it's small or large. So I think if I come down here, like right here, I can come down and I can see that this company is a large company. So it has a mix of large and smalls. Same thing here on this one. Here's Department of Transportation, right? I'm showing you several so that you begin to see that this information's out there and it takes a little bit of digging, but that's our job, right? But you can find teaming partners if you're trying to go after Department of Transportation, DHS, or whatever. Here's the same thing, a bunch of different people. I did Amentum, and I'm coming down to see if Amentum's in this one and whether it has a different point of contact. Okay, so I don't even see Amentum in this one, which is interesting. So that was that company I clicked on with DHS. I think I have it right there, right? So that company there is not in DOT. I thought it would be, and I thought it might have a different group of people. Many of these names, by the way, are in our small business directory already. And then this last one, FAA, we're working with a couple of customers targeting into FAA. And this is perfect here because I can begin to go in and look at these companies and go, well, which ones would be a fit? This Flight Safety International doesn't seem like a fit because really what we're trying to do is more data and software development or something. And so I'm looking for a company like maybe Booz Allen or General Dynamics. That would be a good one. Well, here's points of contact: name, phone number, and email. This stuff is gold for what you're trying to do when you're trying to find teammates and build relationships with teammates out there. Okay, so in this lesson, we talked about the value of teammates to success and the opportunities that you're trying to go after, as well as your long-term success. We talked about using a teaming plan worksheet, and this worksheet allows you to determine the criteria for a good teammate on your opportunities before you start calling people. And then the third thing we talked about just now is how to find teaming partners. You can find teaming partners using USA Spending, using FPDS to see who's in there and how much they're making, for example, and prioritize your knocking on doors. And then you can also go into the agencies themselves. By the way, all those things I showed you at the agencies, those are all in the small business office portals. They have a website on their site. That's where you would tend to find it, not some random place, but go to the small business office's website on each agency that you're going after, and you'll find that there. Here's my tip for you. In the next week, find and build a relationship, just one relationship with one ideal teammate who supports your target agency. Figure out how to get in there, find them, call them, have a meeting, and start building that relationship. Almost everybody I just showed, those people with names, numbers, and emails, if you're calling them and you have value that you can bring them, especially if you're looking to have them sub, they're going to take an intro call. You just got to pick up the phone and make that call. Hey, just want to let you know, people ask me about the slides. I'm putting the slides into the membership. So sustaining members, you can get those slides on March 6th, which is basically 3 or 4 days from now. And then I'll also put a template of the teaming worksheet up there for you. For all of you, I want you to just remember again that government contracting is not a secret. It's just a process.